Hi, I'm Stephanie Gilchrist, and we are here today with Andrea to talk about her experience with Douglas Lake Custom Homes. She is a buyer, an owner of one of their homes, and yeah, we want to hear your story today for anyone that is considering making a purchase of one of the homes that Peter and Kathy and Rolly have built. We just want to hear how your experience is, what you like best about the home, so whatever you can share to help people out.
Great. My experience with Peter, Kathy, and Rolly was an excellent one. They're a family home builder. The communication with all three of them was like second to none. Throughout the entire build process, they were like highly communicative. I mentioned that I wasn't actually here in the city during the entire build process. And although I wasn't here, they were able to consistently send me images of the home, give me status updates. Connecting with their suppliers was quite simple as well, as we would sort of exchange emails back and forth. So that entire process and the entire flow of everything from start to finish went really smoothly. They themselves are a delight to deal with. They're people that I would consider, friends, and could be very much friends with them in the sort of post-build process as well. And just overall, a very simple, easy experience.
Because the lot was here, the house had begun construction, and then you kind of identified that you like the area, you like the size, and then you jumped in on some of the design aspects that you wanted to be a part of. And so, yeah, you had a lot of contact. My understanding with them is they have trades that they have worked with for years and years. So they are extremely reliable, professional, great tradespeople. They have a really good relationship with them. You found that too, right? With all the install, how's the house holding up for you?
Yeah, exactly. The house is holding up great. We're about 6 months in. There's some minor deficiencies that you deal with any home build, but every trade that we've interacted with has been very professional, very kind. You were even here when the landscaper came to finish up some work today, and he's just a joy to be around.
Yeah.
Loves our dog. But yes, to your point, we purchased the home when it was at not quite lockup, but it had the roof, the windows, and then they were able to allow us to make some design changes to the home in that process, as well as give us the opportunity to choose all of our finishing. So I think they had done some selections, but based on the timing and the way that things had been sort of flowing, we were able to decide what we wanted to have inside the home.
Mm-hmm. So that's nice when, it's at that stage and you can do that. And even if you were to buy a spec house from them, they have everything professionally designed, colors all picked out, but because they're builders, they can adjust as well and make changes, right? And as you live in it, you might want changes and you can still be in touch with them, right? So what are your favorite things? I know for me, I walk in, I'm just stunned by the ceiling. I think it's so beautiful. And then, the chef's kitchen in the back. And
exactly, yeah. The ceiling was Peter's recommendation, actually. He had been, I can't remember where he was, at a recent open house, and he had seen it done in another builder's property and goes, I think it would be really great in here, so here's what I'd like to do with it. And so we love that, as well as, to your point, the butler's pantry. It's nice that it's connected to both our garage and our laundry room, so as anyone who lives in a winter climate like we do, when you come in from getting groceries in the dead of winter and you've got your boots on, it's nice not to have to kind of track through your home in order to get things where they need to go. So it's a great kind of landing zone and prep area. Plus, we're able to have no appliances, small appliances on our countertops in our main sort of kitchen, and keep it more focused on entertaining, and then have sort of the butler's pantry able to accommodate all of the things like your, blenders and air fryers and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Douglas Lake Custom Homes is run as a family business. Peter is the primary. He's the guy that you have great relationship with, contracts through, lots of communication. I work with him as a listing agent for him, and I find the same thing. His communication is outstanding. He's always calling, he's always communicating and keeping everyone in the loop of what's going on. And then Kathy has the design eye, so she picks out colors and designs the homes, and then Rolly is kind of the general contractor, watching all the trades, making sure everything's going on time and on budget. You said that you had a pretty good experience with kind of the scope of the work they promised and then delivering it to you on budget, which is excellent for builders to be able to do that and keep their word on that, because that can be a pitfall for some people, right?
Definitely, and I think especially working with Kathy through the process, because she's done so many designs of so many homes, when it came down to choosing certain feet or certain materials or certain, not necessarily certain suppliers, because they always typically deal with the same suppliers, but certain materials, she was able to kind of steer me in the right direction of like what's going to break the budget versus what's going to fit in nicely. And so I always felt very comfortable that when, you know, it got down to like, if we were, like for example with lighting, you're given a certain allowance, and she was able to kind of help through that process with that supplier to make sure that we were picking the right fixtures, like spending the money in the right places, and then like holding back in other areas where you maybe wouldn't necessarily need to spend, like in a closet. You know, you don't want to necessarily have a super fancy light fixture in a, you know, a closet that you're not necessarily going to be using all of the time.
Yeah, and they're super experienced. I mean, they do homes up to $5 million custom builds. They probably do higher than that, but I know they have several that Peter's talked about, you know, $3 million range, $5 million range. And then they do the spec houses kind of under $2 million, but they're so beautifully done, right? So you feel like you're in the lap of luxury kind of living here. And I love your house. I just think it's stunning.
Yeah, and we had actually seen quite a bit of their custom homes they did quite a few homes close to Vernon on Crystal Waters Road, so I was very familiar with what they had done in terms of the quality of a custom home build. But to your point, these are obviously spec homes. But yes, we've received a lot of compliments, and we've had a few people come by in the neighborhood to be like, oh, you have a Douglas Lake custom home. We don't. And I was like, oh, so it's, you know, a very nice compliment to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually funny, a girl that I work with, she goes, because I'm in the process of moving jobs, and she's like, oh, how am I going to say hi to Peter now? She knows his name, and I just work with her. So I found that quite entertaining as well. Just goes to show like how much we do like communicate and you know, talk about how things are going and what needs to, you know, be done if there's anything that he can do, that type of thing.
Yeah, they take responsibility. Like he's actually you're a member of his extended family, and he's like checking in on you and taking care of you. And I feel like that's how he wraps his clients and wraps the people that he works with, right? Like they're heart-led. Yeah. Like it's.
And he's just very proactive. Like when you're, like any new home will have a certain amount of deficiencies, but he's also, you can see him looking, trying to spot where he knows things need to get done, and even pointing things out that maybe I haven't necessarily seen or wouldn't see because you're not necessarily the builder, so you might not know. And so I found that like very reassuring.
It builds trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Andrea, and telling everyone about your experience with Douglas Lake Custom Homes. If you're considering a purchase from this builder, we highly recommend you reach out, give Peter a call, and he will be happy to meet you in person, go through all your wants and needs and your budget, and see if he can help you make your dream home a reality. Thanks for joining.